What's up, guys? This is IWillDominate from Cloud9. Today we are here with the Academy World Champions of the world, the universe, MSI champs. You know, these guys are the first back-to-back Academy winners. C9 here, great accomplishment, actually winning both splits this season. And yeah, we're just gonna go into a little interview, talk about these players' aspirations and how it was playing with the team. So I guess the first question I'll ask you guys, pretty much a softball, but how was it integrating Tomo into this team? I know last split you guys played with King. There was visa issues because of COVID. And now you have a new AD carry. It seems like you guys didn't drop a beat, ended up winning this split as well. Was there any hiccups? Was it hard to acclimate a new player? Or is your system just that good?
Diamond can answer.
Yeah, Diamond. Yeah, thank you guys. Well, we needed an AD carry because Corona stole my AD carry. And he was hard stuck in O's, unfortunately. So what happened is... Jack was like, yeah, we have 2 days to find any carry. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go through the ladder. Tomo's the highest LP. Jack asked this guy. That's how he went up. So that's how we got Tomo. And then Tomo was, he was a collegiate player at first. But he grew up into being an academy player. And now he's the king of replicas. And he can only get better. So that's the story of Tomo 9.
Yeah, I mean, I will say King was really, really good. I mean, King was an amazing AD carry, but our first split, I mean, the second splits are off pretty bad, like usual, and Tomo kind of grew into the shoes. King left, and eventually it became pretty good.
So, Diamond, did you have any experience playing with Tomo before? Like, had you got him in solo queue? I know you hard do abuse with definitely every single time I see you, but, like, did you ever actually solo queue and get a game with Tomo in, or is this the first time?
I knew he was, like, okay. Like, I was playing as Tomo, and he, he had, like, decent mechanics, and that's all I want from any carry. I was just like, I can teach, like, any carry how to play. It's not that hard. Like, you just kill minions, and you hit champions. So, like, the job's not that hard. Some AD carries make it look hard, but, like, Tomo was making it look hard. But, I mean, he got to I just teach Tomo how to lane and stuff, and then he got better by not just by me, but I saw him playing solo queue, and I knew for a fact that he could become good. So it wasn't just like a shot like randomly. I'm like, oh, the highest rated, I'm gonna pick this guy. But I played against him multiple times. He had good fingers, so like, sure, let's pick him up.
Sounds good. I mean, you guys obviously made it work. I mean, the next person I'd want to go to here is Reignover. You're now coaching Academy. Like, how was it coaching a team with this much talent? I mean, individually, it seems like you guys have a pretty insane roster, a bunch of high-rated players. I know PalaFaker is rank 1 right now. Does it make your job a lot easier coaching a team with this much talented players? Or, like, I guess, what did you exactly have to work on to, like, make this team come together and win? Was it as easy as just like the sum of the parts, just give them a draft, give them a good draft and set them off? Or was there like, more grit that you had to do?
I definitely feel like my players are talented, so it does make it easier for me. I feel like, I don't think it was like too difficult. I feel like it was just like us, we just have to like keep improving on the way like we actually play off our win condition, and then we just like pick champion that where everyone is comfortable at, and if we're the team who's picking a champion that we're comfortable, and if we know the win condition, and if we actually execute the win condition, I think it's good enough to beat every academy team. So yeah, it definitely wasn't like too difficult. I think there was some moments that it kind of was difficult, but it was just like all fixable in a short term. So yeah, it wasn't as easier than spring split for this split, but it was it wasn't too difficult because the guys were doing really well.
Sounds good. I mean, one thing I guess we can go to off of the drafts here is it seems like you guys are taking inspiration from LPL a little bit. I can't tell. I mean, I see the Lucian Eve with the Leona pick. I feel like that's not very NA focused like that. I've seen that being played in LPL before in EU. Did you take inspiration from other regions, or was it just like stuff you came up with because the picks are strong right now? How did you guys end up with a lot of these drafts?
I mean, it's just like we have been playing, for example, like Lucian even before like people played it off, because as a team we like having a lot of like counter pick mid, and we were doing a lot of like 80 counter pick mid, so it wasn't like, but like the Evelyn pick for sure. And it's just like recently we have like, as the playoff go, not like LCS team, academy team doesn't really have that much of the scrim partners, so we had to like actually scrim a lot like TSM like very often, and then it was just like we just prepare like a draft and picks that would like take TSM off guard, and then one of it was having more AP jungler, So we practice more every jungle. We still have a lot of card that we didn't pull it out. Like they didn't really force us to pull it out, but yeah, I think it was kind of like a both. We were playing those champ, and also we kind of get inspired by other like region playing it. Like we just talk about like the champ what we're gonna play like as the weeks go. So
We had Lilia ready. I wanted to play Lilia, but they just kept giving us sets, so
yeah,
I guess it was okay.
We went
yeah.
from kind of being self-made Evelyn.
Yes,
to the Kings.
Fudge loves LPL. We watched a lot. And I think, we inspired. I watched a lot of self-made, and I thought Eve was just broken,
And we
like
know
super
that.
busted.
And we know that their jungler has
Okay,
a
the
really
story of
shuffle.
Evelyn, by the way, is not Inori thought it was broken. We had to force Inori to play Evelyn for, like we said.
No, we had a week to work on it, and I'm like, guys, I don't know. I'm trying to pick up Lilia.
It was so broken. It's like
We lost to this Evelyn, this Latin American guy playing Evelyn, and my team was like, all right, I guess Evelyn's just the most broken champion in the game. And I was explaining to them, her passive is called Demon Shade.
Wait, so what I'm getting here is I asked you guys if you take inspiration from LPL and instead you're taking inspiration from LAN. Is that actually what's happening?
the other one.
I said, yeah, that was a bit too good.
Just either was two.
Guys, no leak.
They played today.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
We watch
They
a
play
lot
tomorrow.
of LPL and LEC. I mean, I think those two are the best regions, so we take notes.
Sounds good. I mean, when you guys said you like took the pick from Latin America, like was it just from like solo queue, or have you actually been screaming any LAN teams? Because I know that there's actually like decent LAN players now. I mean, LAN is a meme on NA, obviously, but it seems like this season more than most, you see a lot of like the LAN players actually topping the ladder. You have Jose Diodo, that guy's always at the top of the ladder. You know, like Adi when he was playing was doing really well here. I mean, it seems like we actually have a decent amount of good Latin American junglers. So do you actually ever scrim any of these teams? Or like, how is the scrim situation?
Couldn't get scrims for like the last week, so we pretty much scrimmed one of the best Latin American teams. We shit on them, of course, but apparently their jungle was like up and coming Messiah. And when he plays that
really
one,
1v9
he just
every
kills every
single
single
game.
person in the game. But yeah, I mean, I think they're good, but we shit on them a lot. For a Latin American team, they're pretty good.
I mean, I think the other thing that plays into it is like, it's like kind of when we scrim LCS teams, we're like really like we respect them a lot, so we want to try as hard as we can. It seems like the LAN teams are actually like they're actually really trying in scrims, where some academy teams will just mess around, you know. But I mean, personally, I like scrimming LAN teams.
Yeah.
They actually try to.
Some LAN teams are better than bottom academy.
Yeah,
For sure.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
The top two.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, it seems like Academy is a lot stronger than it was in previous years. One thing that I feel like is a question in the community is like how do Academy players really shine? Because you send some of these LCS teams, like for example, the Immortals team that started in summer actually ended up not even making playoffs in Academy. But it seems like it's hard for Academy players to actually get these shots into LCS. And for a team like you guys, where you guys have won multiple splits, like is it frustrating at all not being able to like show your stuff, like not being able to play in LCS, or like how do you plan on kind of making the transition, because you guys have had all the success you could ask for this year? It's a lot of hoping and praying. Like it's like please watch our games, or
I mean, I think if you're good enough in academy, you'll make LCS for sure. I mean, I don't doubt that like some of us are going to be in LCS at least next year, so it's going to be interesting, I guess. But I think like getting LCS isn't as hard as many people think. I just think a lot of the academy players aren't good enough.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of hype around a lot of academy players that don't deserve to be playing in LCS in my opinion. Like, there's some like people that are just on Reddit, it's just crazy like what they think. But like the lower tier academy teams, they're lower tier because they're fucking bad, by the way. Like there's like amateur players like might be at the same level as them. Like the bottom 3 and 4 academy teams are straight dog shit. Like no cap, like straight dog shit. And like top 3 academy teams are like probably better than like they probably have like LCS players, like as good as LCS players, if not more, like better. But like NA orgs don't take risk at all. They just rather go with like the old veterans that are not good, but you've seen what they've done for the longest time, right? For sure, there's better like academy players than what there is in LCS right now. Like it's a joke.
Do you think that there's like redeemable players on some of the bottom teams? Like is it like everyone on these teams you don't perceive as being LCS ready, or is it like there's some players that are just hard ELO held in bottom academy?
Academy is actually the team that really shit. Like the only team that's actually good is us by far. Like I'm pretty sure we shouldn't have dropped a game against CSM2, just because in scrims we do pretty well. Like we've been doing well against LCS teams, like top 4 LCS teams, like taking scrim sets to like 3-2, even beating them in scrim sets sometimes. So like I think our team together is like insanely good. Like we could be a top 4 LCS team, but everyone else in academy, they're you get like a few good players from like the top 3 teams, but everything below that is still pretty trash. I think it's because like the structure behind the like lower teams are really bad, like bad coaches, bad whatever.
Yeah,
But
I agree. The players
I don't think it's the player. I mean, players are bad, but like
some players are bad, obviously, but like
I do think the structure is
I
really
got
bad.
really lucky when I was not necessarily a no name, but I wasn't really like a big player, like a big name by any chance, and I got into C9. And if you play around like players that are like as good as like they are now, like there's no way you can be bad. Like I'm playing against around Blabber, like Golden Glue, and like Kumo and stuff. Like those players were like the best academy players in the roles. So I'm playing around them. Like I don't have a choice but to be at their level. If I'm not, I'm gonna be dropped. Like that's just the way it is. So I have to like get to their level and higher, no matter what.
Like, how did it feel actually coming over to NA and being able to like compete against these tops? Are people worse than you thought they were? Did you have high confidence?
I actually think NA players are were better than I thought they were. Like when I saw academy players, like when you watch someone play, you it's very easy to like see their mistakes, but when you're actually playing, it's a lot different. Like when I was playing against the NA academy like players, they're a lot better than like when I watch them. Just because like I'm not as good as as many people. I mean, I'm just not that good, you know. I'm an academy. So, but like when I first came over to NA, like I don't think I'm like by far better than anyone in NA right now. Like in terms of like even in academy. So, like.
Are there any academy players that you like specifically respect? Like, do you have respect for somebody like I don't know, like Zion, Spartan, or anybody?
I think Dokeland, Zion, Spartan are pretty good. I think Fake God's pretty good. Like out of all the top laners, and those are probably like the 3 best top laners. Like other than me in the
What
academy.
about Deuce, man?
Oh yeah, Deuce is good actually. Deuce is good too. Actually, some of the academy top laners I think would be better than LCS top laners for sure.
Alright,
Yes.
Fudge is getting a little too humble over here. Fudge shits on everyone. Fudge is top 2 LCS. I see him
Yes.
dumpster every LCS top laner. It's not even close. Like, why is he like this? Why is he like, I'm not that good. I'm just an academy, you
Trying
know?
to be humble.
He's trying to be
Yeah,
humble,
down
but
to
I
do
see
it.
Fudge.
Better than
He's the
everyone.
king. Fudge is the king of top lane. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Imagine being able to play weak side and strong side.
That's
really
not,
crazy.
I don't play weak side, but yeah.
And medium stuff.
Not often, but
Some
you can.
CS
You know?
on the weak side.
Yeah.
What
Up
the
CS
hell is weak
side.
side?
It's crazy.
Weak side.
He plays every side.
Speaking
Yeah.
of weak side, bot lane, Tomo weak side.
Ooh.
I mean, no, it's a good thing. I mean, they play weak side well.
No, it's true.
Every game.
NA players don't have that where they can play the weak side well, which is rare.
No camps to boss 5 times in a row.
Okay.
The jungler can't be there. I was like, the jungler's here. The jungler can't be there. Like,
All right, so the next person I definitely want to go to is PalaFaker, right? I mean, you've been getting some hype. People have been saying you're one of the mid lanes to watch right now. Obviously, rank 1 on the ladder in solo queue almost feels like that's like a better way to prove yourself than academy sometimes because of how like people value the ladder. I mean, we've seen people like Johnson who did really well on the ladder last year just make the jump straight into LCS. He played like 4 academy games, lost them all, but I mean, you can't really count any of that. But but for you specifically, like, do you think that there's just not enough people taking risks because you see a lot of these NA teams importing mids that end up towards the bottom tier? I mean, Ica started for a long period of the season. I know people are just gonna get on my case about this, but Reignover as well. You know, one of Fudge's OC brothers, but didn't have the best performance in LCS. Like, why do you think it is that people like you haven't been getting shots in LCS? Like, do you think that it's just this split where NA mid laner, NA academy mid laners are getting better, like you evolved, Ablaze evolved, etc., or do you think that there's something that just holds these NA teams back and like why they're not willing to, you know, motivate or like get some of these some of these academy players and put them back on the roster?
I mean, it's definitely true that teams don't really want to take risks. You know, they play LCS to win it, and in that regard, I think a lot of teams like scouting and management is very bad. They don't actually like know how to play the game. They don't know what's good for the game. Some people don't even understand draft and win conditions, right? Like, this is like LCS teams, I think, don't even understand this. So, like, with all that included, you know, they're just going to import a player who they think knows everything because they have good results somewhere else. And, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much NA in a nutshell, I think, for mid lane.
Yeah, but I guess for me, the thing that seems kind of strange about mid lane specifically is when you look at other roles, people are mainly importing, like, people that have had success in major leagues with the exception of pretty much like Closer or I guess Broken Blade on TSM the year before. But it seems like for mid lane specifically, people are just not willing to try out NA talent. Do you think that the NA talent pool is actually that shallow for mid lane?
Not really. I definitely think that some people have champion pool issues in Academy, But you could say like the same thing about a lot of LCS mid laners. I think it's really just about like people not wanting to take a risk. Like to put it in perspective, I think like we scrimmed against TL, like main team. You can definitely tell that like Jensen's like one of the better laners. Scrimmed against Bjergsen, he's like definitely one of the better laners. But like whenever I scrimmed against any other like LCS player, it's just kind of they're just kind of whatever. They don't punish you.
So you're just gonna put Niski on blast like that? You know, he's got a match versus Bjergsen tomorrow or what?
No. I left C9 main team out because we just get turboed every time we play against them, and it's not close.
We can win against LCS teams. Every LCS teams, like no matter the ranking of them, we can win against them. But the main team, we cannot.
Yes, it's
impossible.
It's a quick
We get 5-0 every time. We can't win.
Yeah.
Like they just ego every lane.
It's like
it's World War III in every lane. I can't focus.
it's actually like getting to 30 minutes in a game against them. That's a victory.
And they take joy in shitting on us quick.
Last split, we went 1-14 against them, and like I think 3 days in a row of scrimming them. We won one game in 15 games.
Hell yeah.
It was crazy.
That sounds better than some of the records that I've heard that main teams have versus Cloud9. So, you know, one win is actually pretty good, I would say.
I'm pretty sure I can say this because it was last split, and like C9 was like so dominant last split. But I don't think I saw the main team lose a single scrim set in the last split at all. They went 5-0 or 4-1 every single set, no matter what.
When you guys play against the main team, do you think that it's just because like the C9 main team is just scrim gods? I mean, I've even heard now that they're winning the majority of their scrims. Or do you think that it's just like they have insane mental edge because, you know, like they are like the starters and you guys look up to them so much?
I think it's a bit of both.
It's definitely a bit of both.
They want to shit on us a bit, and they're just scrim gods on top of it.
I think they're just scrim gods.
Yeah.
I think in scrims they just like, I mean, people play worse in scrims, so they're just less focused. It's just like a normal thing, but
yeah,
they're for sure a lot, like they look a lot better in scrims than they do on stage.
I mean, I played with Blobber last year, and we would win every scrim, no matter what. Like last year it was six games, and you would start at like I think it was 12, same as right now, and it was like back to back. There's no breaks in between, and we would end the scrims always 2 hours before the main team scrims when we played like the roster with me, Blobber, Golden Glue, and everyone. We would turbo every team in like 5-0. Like most teams would cancel the sit game because we were just shitting on them too hard. And Blobber like still does this in LCS right now. So like it just 5-0s like the teams, and they usually like end scrims like an hour before us. Sometimes it's like okay, like Blobber is just like a scrim legend. Like he plays so aggressive, and on the in scrims usually people like play like very like they like try to fight you back. Because if you don't fight back against the main team in scrims or like on stage, you lose instantly. So teams like I've been trying to like fight back against them. And it backfires a little bit sometimes, but most of the time, like our team is so good that it doesn't matter. Like all the laners and everyone is just so good.
I will say we've learned a lot from losing against them too. It's like scrimming against them is really valuable.
Yeah, it's very valuable.
I think part of what made us so good was we were able to get an LCS scrims and scrimming the main team on top of it. Even though we would get 5-0'd, we would learn so much more than scrimming academy teams for like 30 games. Just from losing 5 games against them.
Yeah.
So it was a big valuable thing for us.
Yeah. What else have you guys done to try to like make use of the fact that your main team is so good? Do you guys watch like any of their VODs from scrims? Do you watch their scrims like when they're live? I know Fudge does some 1v1s with Licorice. Does that help you? Is there anything else that you guys do on top of it to really like leverage this massive advantage of having the best main team, at least in scrims?
We watch the scrims. We have a stream link, so we get to watch all their scrims, and we get to talk to them. We live in the same house, so it's huge for us to like just be around them.
Yeah, I 1v1 Licorice like every like 2 days a week probably, and it's like about like 3 hour blocks of just like 1v1s for like 50 games straight, and it's like it's pretty insane. But like you actually learn a lot just from like, even though there's no jungler involved in the 1v1s, you just like act as if the jungler's there, and it's just like that you learn so much from just the trading patterns from lane, everything from like every single aspect of laning phase basically.
I watched Fudge versus Eric for 30 minutes the other day, and it's just they hate each other for fun, like right click each other, stand still, right click each other for like full minute. Whoever wins is like, oh, the shit is so OP 1v1. Then they do the same thing again, but now they flash the ability in the 1v1. They do it again. It's like, oh my god, if you flash the ability, you win. And then they do it again. It's so weird. It's like, what the hell is going on? I played bot time, like, yeah, it's like this matchup, like, Ashe pushes. Yeah, Ashe pushes every matchup. So look at farm. Sometimes she Qs and shields. And like, look at Eric and like And the Fudge like told me, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna flash this million. Yeah. If I flash it this minion, I win. It's like, okay.
This is why Fudge always gets prio though. He knows.
Like, yeah, full stick here.
He knows everything.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, one thing that I think would be good to ask you guys is, I mean, with the team looking so good in scrims, do you have any perceptions of why like you haven't been seeing C9 being as dominant this split in LCS?
I think teams play a lot more safe on stage. They're a lot more focused on stage, and also, I mean, I feel like our main team just makes worse decisions on stage than they do in scrims. It feels like they're like sometimes more desperate, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really have much. Like,
The meta was different too.
yeah, the meta changed.
The meta
as
changed
well.
for them, and like a lot of picks that they used that were really, really strong, that they were the first ones to pull out, got worse, and they were still like sticking to those picks and like trying to help, like hold onto those and like try to keep like their actual strategy. And I think our main team actually, like when they were winning every game with the same comp like last split, they like tried to like branch out a lot. And like sometimes when you do that and like you're super strong on like 1 or 2 comp and you change it, you actually like get worse as a team, like on like the old one. So
You
like
lose your identity.
you lose your identity kind of, but you have
Yeah.
way more like picks, and that's what I think happened with the main team. Like they're still like super good. Like it's crazy how good they are, right? But they have like more styles that they can play in, and it's very helpful for them. I think in the long run it will be better for sure. Then they're just playing the same thing over and over. Like I think that's like the way TL played last year, right? When they went to Worlds, they can only play like the Zyrecon way, like the team fighty like late game way, and like they got to Worlds and they just get dumpstered early game by good early game teams, right? Like you have to change your way of playing when you play against those teams, or you would just lose.
Yeah. Do you think they potentially did it too early? Because, I mean, we saw them pulling out a lot of Senna Wukong. They played, like, Sona Lux, things like this. And it seems like that's kind of when their loss streak started, was when they went to, like, these types of comps. Do you think that they maybe, like, branched out a little bit too far, or, like, they went a little too crazy with, like, the experiments, and that's why you saw such, like, a slide in terms of games?
I think when you're winning scrims so hard and so
Yeah.
easily, it's really easy to get the wrong impression
Yeah,
of what is actually good and what you're just beating the enemy with because you're better.
Yeah, like they
I
just
think
win
that's
scrims no
hard.
matter what, so they get. I feel like sometimes they just get the
Yeah.
wrong like perception of the meta, and like what champions are actually like better than each other because they're just winning anyway.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged
So,
sword being so good.
It's actually like
Yeah.
being that
Yeah,
good
it's
is
too
sometimes bad, you know.
They're a bit too good.
They're a bit
Yeah.
too good.
But the thing is that
Uh.
like also most of the teams like don't contest them at all. Like they're just not good enough. So like they can't tell what's good or not. It's like I remember like the first split when they were too good. They had a game where they would play against themselves. Like they had like 3 enemies, right? They had the enemy, themselves, and themselves again. Like they like what is good cannot be always good depending on what the enemy team plays. It's like it was a weird like game that they were playing. Like every game's like, oh, these guys are good to do this here, and we would lose, right? It's like our main team still plays like this, kind of, where they take a lot of fights and it backfires really hard because in scrims they take those fights and the enemy team is just worse than them, like mechanically, and they win the fight. And they should not be winning this fight, but they do. And I think like Damwon plays like that too. They take some like what is going on fights, and like they just win them because they're just better. And like, but when you go to like Worlds and stuff and you play like that, teams like that are better than you will expose you like really hard. But in my opinion, like if you fix your draft around it and you play like well to conditions, which sometimes they don't on stage, they like just take a fight for fun, then like they will be good no matter what. I think.
Yeah.
I think like tomorrow they will beat TSM for sure. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
If they play like towards the style, like there's no way they lose. Like Sven is too good. Sven and Vulcan are just too good. There's no way they can lose. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
impossible. Those 2 players, like they're like world caliber players, like for sure. Like it's like not even close in NA at least. Like people are saying Core is like better than like Vulcan. Like I lane against both of them like for a long time. Core is really smart about how he plays. Like he's really good. But Vulcan, like this type of stuff he does in lane, like but you can't do that. Like sort of you can't do this. That's crazy. Like Vulcan does like some mechanical insane shit and like pulls out of his ass in lane. I'm like, what is going on? And, but the Core doesn't do that stuff. The Core like plays like the game the smart way, in my opinion. Like the smart and control way.
Yeah.
But Vulcan's like, shit, I can't. What can I do?
I guess before we close this interview out, the one person we haven't heard from here enough is Inori. I mean, Inori, you obviously played in LCS for years. You're back in Academy. You took a bit of a break, came back all tatted up, back for Academy, just like ready to take names. Do you feel like it's like you're kind of getting slept on in a way because you've played LCS? Like people kind of view you as a known quantity and they're not able to see your improvement?
I think my case is weird because I didn't really get to play in Academy after LCS. I just kind of like disappeared. So I think people have a really bad opinion about me, especially now still, I imagine. And for me coming back, it was kind of weird. Like I've been away for like 2 years. So getting back into it was really hard at the beginning, but I had like an incredible coach, Reignover, of course.
Reignover, the king of jungle.
He really helped guide me into what I am now, and I mean, I'm just happy to be here back.
Yep. Do you have any plans to like make teams notice you? Are you gonna grind to rank 1 with Rengar again, or?
I mean, maybe this guy. I have to take it away from his ego. A bit too big now.
His ego's fucking huge. His ego's way too big, by the way.
It's actually impossible for him to hit rank 1 because my permaban is Rengar. So
that's true, actually. Even when I'm on his team, he bans Rengar, and I asked him like, "We're dual queue. Why are you banning Rengar?"
Yeah. I mean, whatever, man. Old Inori could play Kha'Zix as well, so.
True. Well, I mean, to get noticed, I think it's really hard to get noticed as like an older player, but you just have to grind out and be good in every game. Like, you just have to strive to be better. Like, that's what I've been doing here, and hopefully, eventually, people start to notice. Hopefully, LCS teams notice, because I think I'm a top 4 LCS jungler. Just from my opinion. I'm not trying to say it. But I'm going to say it. I think I'm a top 4 LCS jungler.
We got Fudge coming in saying that he's not even better than the rest of the academy laners. We have Inori top 4 in LCS.
Top 2, man. He thinks he's top 2.
Oh, like Fudge is so cringe. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm not that good. Guys, I'm just 100 CS up all academy plays, but I'm not that good. Like it's just lucky. It's just I'm just lucky. Like I just RNG that I had 100 CS on him. Like,
yeah, I just RNG'd the Gangplank versus Jace matchup. Like sometimes it can be like that if you hit a lucky barrel, you know.
Yeah, like if you just put the barrel on him and like somehow like the game lags and he doesn't auto it, like I just win the lane.
Sounds good to me. Well, I guess we're gonna close out the interview here. But is there anything that you guys want to say? Like any thing that you want to tell these LCS teams that are gonna be looking to acquire some of your contracts next split?
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
The academy team's the best. I hope they look.
All right, guys. Well, that was the interview with the Academy World Champs back-to-back. C9 taking the series 3-1 over TSM. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like the video, retweet it, share it, do all that good stuff, and we'll see you back for another episode.